Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear viewers. Today in this video tutorial we will discuss the most important topic is lab technician MCQs. So let's start the video. So our first MCQs is the following is not a component of PPE, which is personal protective equipment. Option A, lab coat. Option B, safety goggles. Option C, gloves. And option D, high heels. So the correct option is option D, which is high heel. High heel is not a component of PPE. Which instrument is used to measure the pH of a solution? Option A, spectrophotometer. Option B, pH meter. Option C, centrifuge. And option D, microscope. So the correct option is option B, which is pH meter. A pH meter is an instrument which is used to measure the pH of a solution. So subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update from early technologist. What is the purpose of a fume hood in the lab? Option A, to store chemicals. Option B, to protect against harmful fumes and vapors. Option C, to provide extra lighting. Option D, to keep the lab warm. So the correct option is option B, to protect against harmful fumes and vapors. What should you do if a chemical spills on your skin? Option A, ignore it. Option B, rinse with water for at least 15 minutes. Option C, wipe it off with a tissue. Option D, apply another chemical to neutralize it. So the correct option is B, which is rinse with water for at least 15 minutes. What is the first step in case of a fire in the lab? Option A, call the fire department. Option B, evacuate the lab immediately. Option C, use a fire extinguisher. Option D, hide under the lab bench. So the correct option is option B, evacuate the lab immediately. What is the purpose of chromatography in the lab? Option A, to separate and analyze components of a mixture. Option B, to measure the temperature. Option C, to measure volume. Option D, to mix chemical. So the correct option is option A, to separate and analyze components of a mixture. What is the purpose of electrophoresis in the lab? Option A, to separate DNA, RNA or proteins based on size and charge. Option B, to measure temperature. Option C, to measure volume. Option D, to mix chemicals. So the correct option is option A, which is to separate DNA, RNA or protein based on their size and charge. Which type of fire extinguisher is used for electrical fires? Option A, water. Option B, foam. Option C, carbon dioxide. Option D, dry chemical. So the correct option is option C, which is CO2, carbon dioxide. What is the purpose of a centrifuge in the lab? Option A, to separate components of a mixture based on density. Option B, to measure temperature. Option C, to measure volume. Option D, to mix chemicals. So the correct option is option A, to separate components of a mixture based on their density. What is the purpose of an eye wash station in the lab? Option A, to clean lab equipment. Option B, to rinse eyes in case of chemical exposure. Option C, to provide drinking water. Option D, to cool down the lab. So the correct option is option B, to rinse eyes in case of chemical exposure. Next, what is the purpose of a pipette in the lab? Option A, to measure temperature. Option B, to measure the volume of liquid. Option C, to mix chemicals. Option D, to heat substances. So the correct option is option B, which is to measure the volume of liquids. What is the primary purpose of wearing PPE in the lab? Option A, to look professional. Option B, to protect against chemical, biological and physical hazards. Option C, to comply with fashion trend. Option D, to keep the lab clean. So the correct option is option B, to protect against chemical, biological and physical hazards. So, what is the proper way to dispose of broken glass in the lab? Option A, throw it in the regular trash. Option B, place it in the designated sharps container. C, clean it on the lab bench. Option D, bury it in the ground. So the correct option is B, place it in a designated sharps container. What is the purpose of a safety shower in the lab? Option A, to clean lab equipment. Option B, to rinse off chemicals in case of spill or splash. Option C, to provide drinking water. Option D, to cool down the lab. Correct option is B, to rinse off chemicals in case of spill or splash. Thank you for watching my video.